Using criteria from an expert panel, they scored the chains based on the use of healthy fats and preparation, sodium counts, availability of nutrition information, and the use of organic produce, all to determine the 10 highest ranking restaurants. Which is number 1? Okay, is it A, McDonald's, B, Panera Bread, C, Chipotle, D, Payway, or E, Health.com should serve a plate of shut the hell up.
I like that. A big glass of shut up juice.
Yeah.
Well, I'm confused because you said which one has the most what?
Okay, so we're looking to see which one of these is the best fast food restaurant you should go to for health.
Oh, for health. Okay, which one's best? You said Payway.
Payway, Chipotle, Panera Bread, and McDonald's.
Chipotle.
The answer is Panera Bread.
Oh,
I know.
Snap.
You would think Chipotle, right?
Right.
It was actually out of the top 10, that was number 6.
Oh, okay. Panera Bread.
Yeah, they out of all the options, they said sticky buns and cheese danishes aside, it was like the best options
Really?
as far as.
I
like,
mean,
the
when I go there, I
and...
always get the. I love their. They have the sun-dried tomatoes with
mozzarella,
yeah,
basil.
provolone, or no, mozzarella, yeah,
yeah.
And that's so good, yeah. So I always get that there.
I get the Mediterranean,
but I would figure the bread would like kill you.
Yeah, I mean, if you go there and you get the bread bowl with the broccoli cheddar,
their soup is good.
Yeah, I know it's probably not the healthiest, but as far as overall,
I pick Chipotle because they have brown rice, the black beans. They have the avocado, which it's amazing. So the guacamole, and usually I put that bowl. I feel like I'm, eating super healthy.
Yeah, for me, if the burrito places to go to, if I have the choice between Chipotle or another place, I'm going to Moe's.
Moe's, welcome to Moe's.
Welcome to Moe's.
Moe's has some really good tofu stuff.
I'm not a big tofu person.
What?
I know.
Corey, what the hell? Corey, this guy.
I know.
What is wrong with him? Is Corey a tofu person?
Oh, yeah, she likes tofu.
Yeah, I figured. Because whenever, actually, Matthew again, he makes freaking delicious tofu. Whenever I go to his house, he actually gave me a couple recipes that I've made, and Maddie was like, what? Tofu? Like, she got mad that I offered tofu to her. She's like, don't you ever say that again to me. And then I made it, and she's like, oh, let me try it. And now every once in a while, she'll be like, can you make your tofu?
If you want really good tofu, Payway.
They have good
really
tofu.
Good
they have
tofu,
that,
yeah.
They have that very, like, pressed, I guess. It's very meaty consistency. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, flavor-wise,
yeah.
It's not as Play-Doh flavored as some of these other places.
I hear you. All right. What do we got left?
Well, that's it. So you win.
Oh, I won again.
2 out of 3.
Awesome. 2 out of 3.
How'd you do, Matthew? Text us. Let us know.
Yeah, let us know. Everybody, let us know how you did. I want to hear some feedback. I know more people than Matthew listen to this, and so I want to hear some feedback as to what you found out, what you think is, like, how am I so wrong?
Right. All right. So let's talk about something else. Let's talk about what gets you motivated to get off the couch and do your workouts. Because I know for me, I mean, it took a long time of struggling, and then finally it clicked. Right. But I want to hear what you did, and then I'll talk about mine.
Can I talk about you for a second? Because I have known you for a while.
Sure.
I remember when I met you, you weren't really into running or anything like that. And I remember you were putting on some pounds. It wasn't like you were...
I chunked up.
But you're putting on some pounds, and all of a sudden... You were running every day and everything. And like, I mean, you were a different person, so much energy, so much, you know what I mean? It affected you greatly. Like, and you look great now. And
Thanks.
like, and what I think is like, it keeps you very youthful.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm up there in the age. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I got gray hairs and I'm getting older, but there's people that are younger than me.
Mm-hmm.
That they complain about these aches and pains,
right?
And I am outrunning them. I'm
right.
not, like,
oh, you outran me. You outran me definitely, and
also,
I'm younger than you. So.
Like I'm not. I mean, don't get me wrong. I get some aches and pains,
right?
But I have way more energy to do things, and at the end of the day, I still have energy to do more things.
Right. See, if I can talk about myself about this, is for me, running is therapeutic. Mm-hmm. It's a self-care. They teach you self-care. For me, if I don't run, within a couple, like within a week or something like that, I start to feel it. I feel like I'm dredging, like, like something's going on. And I remember when I was younger, I mean, I did a lot more. I was a lot more physically active when I was young, but I always
learned sports. Did when you were younger?
I did a lot of basketball.
Yeah,
but like never in like a school or anything like that. But I was out. I was out in I had a basketball rim that we used to play. Everybody in the neighborhood would play at, and I just go out around this neighborhood and play with go out every afternoon and play. So basketball was a big one for me. So once basketball was out of the picture, I started doing a lot of weight training at school. So I did a lot of weight training in school. I did like 2 years of weight training in high school, and it's always been a part of something I do. And it's not like I get really buff or anything like that, but it was something that it just keeps me. I like to do it. I just love that feeling of
active,
getting pumped
and
up.
fit.
Yeah. And then, but running to me is my more of a passionate thing, even though I don't do it as much as it would sound like that. But for me, running is like you get your endorphins up, and is that the right thing? Endorphins, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I feel whenever I'm like slightly depressed, I go running.
Yeah.
And I'm getting real deep now. I even wrote this poem because it was like I start out and I'm bounded by all these problems that are going on in my life. Like difficulties with work, difficulties with my family, difficulties with relationships. And I start running and I have this heavy load. It's almost like you have a backpack of all your problems. And as you're running, it almost feels like they're starting to fall off.
Okay.
And like, so I remember this poem that I wrote. It was like mile 1. I'm thinking about, oh, this person did this. I can't do that. Blah, blah, blah. Mile 2. I start seeing things in a different light. Oh, like I look at all I have achieved and things like mile 3. I start like, oh my God, like all this doesn't matter anymore. And on my way home, when I turn around and I'm like mile 6, I'm like, oh man, like I just feel those problems were left wherever I was running. Right. Like I left them out in the street, and I came home.
Calories and problems.
Right. That's been my thing for forever now. Like since I was 17, 18, is just running is a therapeutic thing for me, just to leave my problems behind, and working out too. But music, of course, is the other one. If I can't be running or music, but the other one is working out, doing some run, something like that. So I tell everybody, if you're feeling down in the dumps, if you're feeling depressed, if you're working out of some shape or form, it doesn't have to be running. It could be going on an elliptical, going on a treadmill, and just doing something that gets you out and get your blood going. And it's very biological, I think, where that is going to get you at a different spot in your brain. You know what I mean? Like just get you working in a different level. And that's been my to-do forever. If I'm feeling down and up, I was like, oh, it's because I haven't been running. It's because I haven't been active. I haven't been doing fun things. So all these races that we do and things like that also helps that, There
was one point where I started running, and I was determined to do a marathon. So I started off, I was running a mile, 2 miles. I was eventually doing 6 miles and then 8 miles. Eventually I got to about 12 and 13 miles. I was running on the weekends. And
I remember we signed up for a marathon together for that. I was not able because I was training. We were both training at the same time. That was for the Disney marathon, right? Yeah. And I think what happened to me, I got up to mile 14 and I hurt my leg. I hurt my knee. And I couldn't run anymore, so I told you I was like, "Oh, I'm out." What I was going to tell you is like I really want to do a half marathon coming up, so we're going to put it now in the podcast. We're going to look.
I don't agree to that.
You don't agree to a half marathon?
I can't say no to anything.
Yeah, so you're going to have to do it. So we're saying it now. What is today's the 11th or 12th? 12th. Okay, so let's give ourselves like 3 months, and we're gonna do a half marathon and talk about it next time when we're here. Okay.
All right. Deal.
3 months.
I'm gonna cut this part out. I'm not agreeing to this. No. But yeah, so I was training for this marathon, and I got to this one run I did. What I would do is have my wife Corey drive me to a spot, drop me off, and then I'm gonna now run home, and I was gonna do 16 miles.
Oh wow.
And maybe about mile 3, the sun and everything just got to me, and the motivation was drained out of me. I just didn't want to do it. And at this point, I can call her and say, come pick me up, but I wasn't going to do it. And so I completed the run. And I think after that, I was drained and I didn't want to run anymore.
Oh, yeah.
And I think I also hurt my ankle. So it was a combination of the motivation was gone.
Right.
And I was kind of a little bit in pain.
Mm-hmm.
And I could have kept doing it.
Right.
But I didn't. And
right.
I quit. And for a while, I didn't run. And I felt lethargic.
Well, hurting yourself is one of those things that your body and your mind really tell you don't do this anymore. You know? Because for me, when I hurt my knee, it was pretty much the same thing. It was because I couldn't walk. I had like difficulty walking. I remember I went to Chile then like a few weeks afterwards, and I was over there. You have to walk everywhere, and I was just in so much pain walking everywhere. So I was like, not.
Yeah.
But I think after a while, I realized it was like you have to pace yourself. You can't. I pushed myself over the limit. Going from like 10 miles to 15 miles was too quick to do over a span of a week or two, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it's all about pacing yourself, not over pushing. If you're on an age where you don't recover as quick, I noticed that about myself too.
Yeah.
Where I remember I hurt my back one time when I was 23 and the doctor said it's going to take you about 6 months to recover.
Oh, wow.
And I think it took about 2 weeks, and I was in back perfect shape. And I went back to the doctor, and she's like, "What the hell? Are you Wolverine over here?" Like, but I was 23, right?
Yeah.
So now when I get hurt, it takes a lot longer. Like that injury took about maybe like 6 months for my knee to get back to where I can run.
Get back and run, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I'm just before the Tough Mudder, I knew I had to train. So I said, all right, I got to go out and start.
You crammed.
I did. I compared it to cramming for a test.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. For me, I go to work during the day. I go to school afterwards. So I'm studying. I do the work thing. I have my wife, which I love to spend a lot of time, as much time as I can with her. And other things I have in my life. And I have to now schedule running around that. So, for me, if I could put in 20 minutes,
right.
At least I'm doing something.
Right. That's all it takes, about like 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah. And then what got me up in the first place, I was pretty active when I was young.
Mm-hmm.
I used to play baseball. I love racquetball and volleyball.
Oh, racquetball. I haven't played racquetball in a long time. We should do that soon.
Oh, man.
I love racquetball.
All right.
So
you got it. I love playing. But, it's from, and then at some point where I found that I love to eat and watch TV and play video games more than I like to be active. So I spent a lot of time. And also when we were playing in the band, we would come home from work and go right to the warehouse and start jamming. Yeah. So there was a lot of music playing, which was great. A lot of beer consumption. And then it was really unhealthy lifestyle.
Right.
And we did that for years and years and years. So yeah, you're right. I put a lot of weight on. And one day I'm looking at myself like, whoa, what happened? When you bend over and your boxers or your underwear has that, it's like the elastic, it snaps forward, and then it snaps back. You're like, whoa, what was that? And then eventually, you bend forward and it snaps forward and it doesn't bend back. And so that's what happened to me. And I'm like, what? What's going on?
Yeah, and it happens quick. It happens quick when you let yourself go for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, Corey gives me a hard time because I did it. Just one day I said, you know what? I'm coming out and back, and I'm going to go do a run. I'll be back. And I did. I just got out and ran, and I just started doing it over and over.
Yeah.
And,
it's such a accomplishment. I do it I'm a night runner more than a morning runner.
I'm not a morning person.
So I get home at 9 or 10 sometimes, and I'll go for a run, and it's, you hate it. You're like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing so much? But when you get back and you just feel so much accomplishment for yourself, and you don't get those little pats on the back by anything anymore. I said when you get at a certain age, there's not a lot of pat in the back. So it's like you give yourself that pat in the back because I was exhausted, I was tired, but I made it through this. I did it, and I feel better about it. But it's one of those highlight, little victories, right?
Yeah. Well, did you ever watch Family Guy?
Yeah.
There's an episode where Brian decides he's going to start running.
Uh-huh.
He's running and he gets that runner's high.
Yeah.
And it's almost as if he's hallucinating.
Right.
For me, the runner's high is not that. For me, there is a sense of accomplishment.
Yeah.
I feel on top of the world. I can do anything.
Which, working out brings me to another part of it is it can become an addictive kind of negative thing at times too. like body dysmorphic.
Negative?
Yeah, I know it's a great thing for most people, but it can be. I remember I was seeing this girl for a little